Sega Saturn, SHIRO!
Happy Friday, everybody. It's SaturnDave here, and I've got Standy Pat in with me because actually Pat is like super busy. Hold on a second, I'm gonna fix my screen here. Yeah, Pat is super busy at work, and I miss him. But you know, can't always get what you want. So yeah, we're doing the best, and I'm just trying to fix my camera here a little bit. There we go. Now you guys won't see the edge of my green screen there. All right. So we got like 14 people in the YouTube chat. Feel free to hit me with comments and questions, and I'll try to keep an eye on that and answer any questions you guys may have. I'm kind of short on news this week, but I didn't want to leave you guys hanging, so I figured, you know, I could still drag my setup out because I'd packed it up my setup so that I could move, and I'm actually just moving up the street in the neighborhood where we're at, so that was kind of a good thing. It's going to be a short move, but still lots of packing and stuff to do. But anyway, Pat had to work and he had to like put in a full day, so sorry that we don't have Pat with us, but you get me. It's the best you're gonna get. and I dragged out my setup so that we could do like a SHIRO show and I could talk about the news a little bit, and then I had something special planned. And if you happen to be here with me in the Discord channel, I might put you on the spot. Like, I see Knight is here, so Knight, if you feel like commenting on anything news related, feel free. We also have Garcia and Nutrageous hanging out in the chat, so as long as we don't step on each other's toes, you guys feel free to remark on something. But in the meantime, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. I don't know what to say that I've been doing this week other than packing lots of boxes, working, getting ready for the holidays, you know, and discovering things that I didn't know that I had. I was telling some of the guys in the chat that like I was bringing down boxes and kind of trying to organize all my stuff to put it up at the new house, and I'm like discovering game related items that I didn't even know I had anymore. So that was fun. I think I found like a complete in-box copy of Super Metroid that I somehow thought I didn't have anymore. I thought I had sold. No, I still got it. And I got a complete in-box copy of Zelda, Link to the Past. So basically a bunch of my SNES stuff that I kind of thought that I had just like, I thought that I just had an EverDrive and that I had gotten rid of a bunch of stuff, but I guess there was like a box that I didn't know about. And so yeah, so I don't know if that's ever happened to you guys where you find stuff that you don't even know you have. It's always kind of like Christmas, but then the you know, the hoarder thing kind of sets in and you're like, oh god, I have a lot of stuff, you know. But anyway, yeah, I have an excess of game related crap, multiple Dreamcasts, multiple Saturns, all sorts of stuff. I'm sure some of you guys can relate. But if you can't, no worries. You can live vicariously. You can be the neat one, and you can have me be the hoarder. Anyway, let's kick this off. Let's go ahead and drag up the web page. And it's so weird. Like I feel sorry for Pat when he has to do this by himself, because it is weird when you're flying solo and you don't have like anybody to bounce commentary off of. I'm looking at you, Knight, in the chat.
I'm banished from talking.
You're not banished. I'm bringing you out of banishment. You have a temporary pardon. Because again, like I was this close to not even doing today's show, but I was just like, no, we have such a good track record right now. We've done like so many consecutive weeks, and I'm just like, I don't want to break the streak.
Yeah,
so,
you've been good.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Street Racer, shall we? Because this is long overdue. Patrick posted this back on, gosh, the 10th. So we weren't able to talk about it last week. and we just decided that we would save it for the next segment. So Street Racer is a cool game on Saturn. Have you played it, Knight? I'm curious.
I've never played this game, though.
Really? This
Nope.
is a cool one. I recommend folks go out and play this if you're looking for another racing game. Saturn has tons of good racing games, so I admit that wouldn't be your like first stop, but as far as for example, there was a game called BC Racers. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It came out on the 3DO. I think it was also on the 32X. It wasn't great, some people like it, and some people claim that it's better on one platform or another, but I would say that this is similar in feel. It's got a cartoony kind of aesthetic, but it feels more like that Sega Ages 3D, what is it, Drift, Power Drift, kind of feels like Power Drift. It's got really good, huge scaling sprites in it. It's a kart racer with weapons and stuff like that, but it's got scaling sprites, and it's like a 2D sprites on a kind of mode 7 track. So very similar to BC Racers, but just infinitely better than BC Racers. So if you guys are interested in a new racing game to try out, they did get this in PAL territories. They got an English copy of this game. And it is in English. You can go ahead and boot up a Japanese copy on a disc, sudo or satiator, any ODE of your choice. And I mean, it's easy enough to, pretty much everything is in English anyway. So here, if you guys are watching the video and not listening to this later, you can kind of see the screenshots. But I mean, a lot of the same kind of graphics techniques that you would see in like games like Bulk Slash and stuff like that. Really cool 2D married with 3D, colorful, just brilliant sprite work, good, like really, really crisp gradients, and lots of mesh transparencies, I have to say, but that's kind of par for the course when it comes to Saturn. I recommend you guys go play this game. So whether you're grabbing it from the archive and just booting it up on an ODE, or if you guys happen to, it's not the most expensive game. I think this is going to run you like 40 or 50 bucks for a Japanese copy. I think you'll get plenty of mileage out of it. Wah, wah. See what I did there? Pun intended.
Did you say this game came out in the US?
It did not come out in the
familiar.
It did not come out in the US. It could have gotten a release on another console, maybe PlayStation or something. So I can't speak to that. I'm sure that some knowledgeable individual can correct me on that, or do like a quick Wikipedia search, because I don't have my keyboard in front of me. But frankly, the PAL territory got a Saturn, release, and we just didn't, because of course, US. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Maybe the Saturn was already dying by this. It says 1996 on here though, and considering there was no localization really needed, I really don't get it. Like, I don't get why we didn't get it. Other than the what is it? Just the general sentiment of hate towards 2D games, or distaste towards 2D games in the 90s. And if that was the case, then that's just stupid. I mean, this was a great game. I have a copy. I have a Japanese copy, and it was well worth the purchase, and I highly recommend it. Anyway, tiny little write-up here, so I can't, and I can't actually read these tiny little words right here. But anyway, go check it out, guys. Next up, just a little recap. Last week, if you guys were living under a rock, or I don't know, if you haven't woken up in like a week, you will find that we interviewed Adam Korlick on the show live, and talked about the Pluto with Roger Vega, KidVid666. That was a lot of fun. Adam was a great sport. Appreciate his time. He's a busy guy. He's doing a lot of flying and a lot of touring with this thing, and so just the fact that he was able to come and do a show at a specific scheduled time and everything, and we really appreciate that. And he gave us some insight into into the inner workings of the Pluto, and what they discovered about it so far. Subsequently, he's been to Kay's house, and the Pluto has been on K, A Murder of Crow's couch. And I don't know, they tried multiple things with it. Apparently, it sounds like they did do a somewhat forensic level look at the disc, and it doesn't seem that there's anything on there. At least that's what I believe.
The hard drive was empty.
The hard drive was completely empty. Not a surprise. I think that's kind of what we all expected. I think that he was able to get the gamer's cart working. Oh, he was able to, K is almost like 99.9% sure that there is no onboard RAM on this thing. Even though was kind of like, that was kind of like a suspicion that Ben Heck suggested. He was like, oh, there might be some onboard RAM on here, because there were some modules that some DIMMs or something like that he didn't recognize. But I don't know. According to Kay, and he's a pretty reliable source, he thinks that there isn't any onboard RAM. But
well, that's technically not true. It could still have RAM, but not the extended RAM that we're thinking of.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so it could still have RAM that would be probably used to negotiate transfer of data onto the hard drive. Something like that, like bus RAM, but it doesn't have like the expansion RAM that we're all thinking of, the 1 or 4 megabyte expansion RAM on the machine. But anyway, that was a really fun interview. Thanks again. Thank you to Adam for your time, and Roger Vega. You guys are cool cats, and we really do appreciate you. Just doing that interview. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll. He's been taking these funny pictures that remind me of Amelie with the gnome, like Pluto in front of the county jail, Pluto in front of the Seattle Space Needle, or whatever. So that's fun, and I'm just excited to see what else we find out about this legendary console. It's all a part of Saturn's history, and that is what we're all about. Moving on to the next order of news, I guess. This is old news by now. I mean, we're late. I'm late posting this up, but Private Eye shared in the Sega Extreme and in the SHIRO Discord about a week ago that Cafe Alpha put out a long-awaited and huge release for Pseudo Saturn Kai. This is V6.483, and you can download. There's a link here. It'll take you right through to Cafe Alpha's site to download it. This is a major, long-awaited update. This new version supports the latest version of Fenrir firmware and Save Data Manager utility for Satiator ODE. And there are also many small additions and improvements here. For example, it's now possible to select the font to display disk images in. So that's kind of cool. And there's a little GIF here showing you kind of how you're able to change those things. And that's really cool. Adds support for the latest Fenrir API, making it compatible with firmware. The 7.2 firmware. Adds support for nested folders and disk images selection for Fenrir. Let's see if I can read from this list here. Add support for Satiator ODE and Save Data Manager. Awesome. Additional fonts to select, which I just said. Let's see here. More stable game loading for Fenrir. He fixed the JHL loader to make it compatible with gray Japanese Saturn on BIOS version 1. Special thanks to Professor Abrasive, of course, for investigating that and helping fix compatibility issues with games relying on uninitialized VDP1 RAM. Major graphical issues fixed in Croc, so that's cool. There's a game that's known for its graphical issues. Japanese and US bug fixed versions, and Slam and Jam 96. There were minor graphical issues fixed in Mech Warrior 2, Need for Speed, and Space Hulk. So continue to improve game compatibility with those loaders. It added comms link IO background check in Pseudo Saturn Kai, Save Data Manager, and R menu Kai, Fenrir loader, and Kai utilities. No need to flash the cartridge to get linked between Saturn and PC. Save Data Manager is enough for that. No longer need to manually set EMS data link type. It is now automatically detected. So quality of life improvements, and adds the ability to erase cartridge ROM in firmware flasher utility. Some of you guys maybe it's just going to be over your head if you're not into pseudo Saturn Kai. But if you are and you use it regularly, then you probably are going to appreciate some of these improvements. So bear with me. Many minor fixes and improvements to the Save Data Manager. And then another thing that wasn't mentioned in the digest changelog was that Super Prologue 21 Games Volume 1 is now playable in pseudo Saturn Kai without the need to patch it. Shouts to Knight right here, Anthony, for the cheat code. Thanks to Ricapso or Ricapiasso, I don't know if I'm ever saying that right, for the Shining Holy Ark and Shining Force 3 save files, which have been added to the Save Data Manager. So, shouts to you, Knight. Thanks.
No problem.
Again, you are the utility player. You're that guy. It's like, oh, I need you over there. I need you to do this.
I'm just not that guy.
You're not that guy.
You're lucky you're getting this right now.
I force you. I'm forcing you. No, you know what? You're humble, and I appreciate that. But seriously, you're just all over the place helping people out. I appreciate that. The next development goal will be disk image selection for Satiator ODE. So that's coming. Huge thanks and shouts to Cafe Alpha for creating this patch, and to Private Eye for reporting all the bugs, which really helped polish it up. So thanks to both of you guys. Shouts. Love what you guys do. Thank you for serving the community for so long and giving us something awesome. So I know, and here's the thing. I know a lot of us have moved on to ODEs, myself included, but there are tons of people, probably more. There's probably the majority of people out there are probably just rocking the pseudo cart with CDs. Okay, so this is still, we still like to talk about this, and it's still very, very important because it concerns like most of the people out there. I know a lot of people are dipping their toes into the ODE thing right now, and it's great. But I mean, this still is an awesome and cheap way to go. I mean, it doesn't get any cheaper than this. If you grab a Saturn and you grab a pseudo cart for about like $40, you got yourself an awesome gaming machine, and then you can just grab a spindle of CD, like 100 CDs for like $20 on Amazon, and go for it. Just go ham. So pseudo Kai always getting better and always adding more features, which is great.
Well, a lot more and more OD users are going to be using pseudo Kai also.
Yeah.
Like if you're on Fenrir, chances are you're going to be using this interface because it's just a little bit better than
the one that's just
what's on,
yeah,
like the standard one, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's been around longer. He's had a lot longer time to refine it, so I'm not surprised. Finally, as far as the news goes, and like I said, guys, this is it's kind of a slim pickings week for news. And I mean, I tried, and I'm sure there's a lot of little things going on in the community, some that I may not know about, some that are just not incredibly newsworthy, but we can talk about it. If you guys want to suggest something, we can certainly talk about it. There are things that are coming up real soon, in terms of like, bulk slash. And in terms of like, but anyway, this week was kind of slow. We did have a Mr. Core update though, and actually this happened back on the 5th. And again, we just kind of were slow to report it. And that's because like a lot has been going on. And then last week was, the interview with Adam. We had to kind of jump on that when he was available. So coming back around to it, but basically on November 5th, it's SRG 320 released a new Saturn Core update for Mr. And it's significant. It shows significant progress. I didn't do too much of a write-up here, but he included a video here, which I will mute, but show you anyway, the footage. And essentially, it's not perfect. I mean, far from it, but there's significant progress made in terms of running code for FMV playback. He's, you know, several areas are. He's got Contra here, which is not a great game, admittedly, but I mean, it's demonstrating more, you know, 3D rendering using VDP1 and the background VDP2 for the infinite plane. And you know, there's some graphical glitches and stuff. But again, remember that where software emulation has had years to be refined and do really good job, you know, emulating the process of the Saturn, this is hardware. This seeks to emulate the chipset verbatim, you know, so, and that is going to take time. But once it's completely and fully implemented and it reaches perfection, you know, it'll be probably like the de facto way to preserve these experiences, you know, with the peace of mind that you're getting the exact same experience that you would on real hardware. But yeah, so, and of course the Mister is like a tiny little box that you could shove in your suitcase and take with you anywhere. So yeah, here's some footage of Hang On GP 95, or is it 96? Was it Hang On GP 90? It was 95, right? I'm thinking. I don't know why I'm questioning that. It was Manx TT that came out in 96. But anyway, some footage here if you happen to be watching the video. Sorry for those who are listening later on the podcast, but you can see here that the polygon rendering looks pretty darn, you know, pretty darn accurate. There's some glitching going on with like the skybox in the background, but again, you know, just work in progress. And here again is some footage of Panzer Dragoon with again some problems with the background layer, but several bits of the foreground assets and 3D geometry are being rendered correctly. So it's very cool to see this. And so I know Pat is being a huge a proponent of the Mister, is very excited for this. And so anybody who's into Mister, you have reason to be excited, because now they're rocking and rolling and it just keeps getting better.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Mister as well.
Yeah, me too. You know, on a side note, people are finally getting their Polymegas, and they're raving about, you know, they're raving about the platform, about the menu, the curation of all the images and the information, a lot of the ephemera that those guys have put, the time that they've put into like really building up the library. Yeah, so a few channels that I follow, and of course, like we all know, the Polymega is not without its drama. You know, unfortunately, I wish I could say otherwise, but you know, following it all the way back when it was the that retro block system, and then, you know, all the FPGA, and then it's going to be software emulation, and everything. So it hasn't been without its drama, but at least it's not like a Coleco Chameleon type thing. I wouldn't go that far. You know, it's a legit product. It's polished. They took a long time with it. Some people are starting to get theirs, and those that have received them, they don't seem too unhappy. They seem to be digging what it's doing. And even though it's rocking hardware specs from, you know, a few years ago, that doesn't seem to be an issue in terms of its ability to emulate Saturn well, at least, because reports are very, very promising.
Are you able to put in your own images, or does it all have to be loaded off of a disk in your own physical collection?
Well, you can rip a burned disk, but it is a process. They want it to be a legitimate. They want to encourage folks to be honest. I guess more than anything, they're covering their asses. But the truth is, it's like, if you want to get a bunch of, I'm sure somebody will figure out a way to hack it, to be honest with you. But as it is right now, Game Rave TV, which is a channel that I follow, was talking about how he is up to the H's in installs, quote unquote installs, to his Polymega, because you actually have to take your discs or your burn discs, rip them onto the console, which is actually pretty quick because it's got a zippy CD drive that'll read pretty quickly. And yes, burnt disc, but you cannot add your own backups.
Well, you can install. It's a little confusing, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little confusing, but essentially somebody is gonna hack it. I'm sorry to the folks at Polymega, but I mean, if they're out there hacking PlayStation Minis and Nintendos, and I mean, you know how serious Nintendo is about security, but there's always somebody out there that can figure out how to hack these things. So
I'm pretty sure they're aware of it. They just said we're not the ones that are gonna do it.
Right. Exactly. And that's all you have to say, you know. I mean, they're in the clear. They checked all the boxes and did everything right, and now it's in the community's hands, you know. But essentially, you know, folks wait. You know, I mean, Ben, our own Ben with SHIRO, had a pre-order for it and he canceled it because it was just like, you know, dragged on too long. And then so now some people are sitting here really starting to say, well, should I grab a Polymega or should I just wait for the Mister project to reach full compatibility with Saturn? You know,
here's what you do: get an Xbox Series S.
There you go.
You install RetroArch.
Right. See,
Arch.
And that is the thing. So what do you get with Polymega? Honestly, you get a really slick front end. Arguably better than RetroArch. That's what a lot of people are saying, that it's just much more seamless. And obviously it's that a lot of time and thought and care has gone into curating all the information. So that's what you're really getting. You're getting their flavor of presentation, you know. But in terms of performance, you're absolutely right. You could just take an Xbox. Hell, I mean, I know people who are still rocking XBMC and stuff on an original Xbox and doing emulation that way, but of course you're not going to get Saturn emulation on that. But yeah, you get like an Xbox One S. Like, was that C-Win? I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Hey, I know your voice enough by now. Yeah, so well, I totally agree.
Is the retro on the S Mendefin, or is that just the Yabaos or Yabause core?
You can install Mendefin, I think, but I've only tried out Beetle, which is I think it's
Beetle is the Mendefin core. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're the same.
Truth is, though, I mean, like, there have been emulation options for years. It's at this point, it's almost like there's too many. You got all the RetroPie stuff. You got all these like janky cabinets with, you know, cheap Chinese clone versions of that kind of stuff. You know, Orange Pi or this, that, and the other thing. There's literally just so many different options for emulation. And part of the appeal with Polymega, I think, for some is just that it is a polished product. And if you happen to be kind of like a hardware nerd, where you like a console, you like proprietary hardware, basically. I mean, it's essentially off the shelf parts, but you know, it's presented in a very proprietary form. So I can see why some people are into it. But then again, I think that if you guys wait, you'll probably find one for cheaper on eBay or something. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough market, especially with all those modules being like $50-$60 a piece.
Yeah,
80.
I mean, you remember that
it's 80 now.
Yeah.
That's the retail price.
He's right. They've gone up because they just couldn't. You know, things change, and it's hard making promises early on. You know, I would say under promise and over deliver. You know, rather than doing the opposite. But yeah, I mean, you remember the Ouya?
I have an Ouya.
You have an Ouya? Nice,
I do.
Nice.
I was one of the Kickstarters. Yeah. I
really believed in that thing at the beginning, you know, and I remember arguing about it to a friend of mine, and he's a pretty smart guy, and he was just like, yeah, I think it's gonna fail. And this was way before anyone knew that it was gonna fail. I mean, but he was just like, I'm sorry, but like, there's only room for like 3 real players, and everything else is just kind of like sidelines. We'll see. It'll have degrees of success, but you know, how much?
The idea was great. It's just very poorly executed.
Poorly implemented. Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. Solid idea, but kind of, you know, again, more over-promising and under-delivering, though.
When was Polymega first announced? 2016?
Yes.
Around, I want to say 15, so yeah, somewhere
around there.
Well,
yeah, Retro Blocks, it was just like a vaporware concept in 2015, but yeah, 2016, it was like actually announced, like, we're doing this and everything. And I was super excited, and I was definitely drinking the Kool-Aid and telling everybody, oh, this is going to be so great. I'm going to like, this will be my one-stop device that sits in my living room and the kids can, I don't care what the kids do to it because it's not, you know, it's not like an actual Saturn or anything, you know. But yeah, I mean,
that's the hilarity of it is, you know, in like 5 years, all these different Saturn, I believe, I'm guessing one of the killer apps back then was the Saturn compatibility, and now Saturn's not that hard to emulate now.
I know, right? I mean, things have kind of caught up. Software emulation has gotten amazing, and I don't think that it's any coincidence that it started happening right after a lot of the contributions that James, Professor Abrasive, made with his access to the CD block. You know, a lot of the contributions he made to like the Mendefend project and everything like that really opened things up in terms of the understanding of how all that works. And then it just kind of snowballed. It's gotten a lot better in a short amount of time. And now we're on the precipice of hardware emulation and this Saturn core for Mister. So it's exciting times. That is all the quote unquote news that I have for this week. However, I wanted to do something special. I have like a little list here. I want to do something special.
Home shopping network.
I'm literally just shooting from the hip here, okay? So bear with me. But I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be doing the show next week. I hope you guys understand. I don't even know if we're going to have a show next week because Friday is the day after Thanksgiving. And that's a holiday for me, and I'm going to be off with the family, you know, eating turkey, enjoying my family, and spending time. And I hope you guys, if you don't have, you know, immediate family, I hope you can go, you know, be with a friend or something like that, and just try to, you know, chill and have some fun. I'll you know, check back with Pat. I don't know if he has any plans to run a show on Friday, but because I won't be here on Friday, I wanted to take this opportunity to thank folks in the community who I am thankful for, because Thanksgiving is a very important time to me. You could be thankful for people any time of the year, but this is a special excuse for me to basically, you know, shout people out and just say, hey, you know, I'm thankful for you guys. First of all, I just want to say I really am thankful for this community, because like just 4 or 5 years ago, I was just not really involved at all in any of this stuff. I just really was one of those kids who was a Saturn fan and really didn't know anybody else to share it with. So I've spent most of my life being a Saturn fan, but not really sharing it with anybody else. Dreamcast, yeah, I have plenty of acquaintances that are into Dreamcast and, you know, PlayStation 2 and other consoles, but it's like whenever I would bring up Saturn, they'd just be like, oh yeah, I don't know anything about that. I didn't even know it was a thing until much later. But apparently we all exist, folks, and we all have come out of the woodwork over the past few years, and so yeah, I wanted to take a little bit of time to kind of highlight what the Saturn community consists of. Okay, so community members going all the way back. We've got Cafe Alpha. We just talked about him. Cafe Alpha and Private Eye over there working on the pseudo solution and all that great stuff. We've had Cyber Warrior X doing a lot of cool projects, and of course he's kind of been MIA, but I felt like mentioning him anyway, you know, just because a lot of the groundwork that he's laid. And then Paul Met of Team Medusa. You got those guys doing some amazing translations, hacks, and patches. And while we're talking about that, we've got our own Anthony, Knight of Dragon. I'm thankful for you, man, because you're always willing to help. People have projects and they're like, you know, you usually are just like, go ahead and shoot me whatever. I'll take a look at it and I'll try to help. And it's like that's just incredible, you know? That's what makes this community so accessible, is that we have folks who are like not too cool for school and they're willing to like help other people, you know? I think that's amazing. XL2 pushing Saturn homebrew and showing people what's possible, and just you know, from nothing, starting from just like a little bit of coding experience and getting into Johannes Fetz getting into his Joe engine. I'm thankful for Johannes for developing an engine that makes it easy for folks to develop homebrew. I think that's incredibly awesome that he did that, because a lot of people are getting their feet wet in Joe engine, whether they're sticking with it once they get more advanced. I mean, that's where they're starting off, and it's helping us to have like this growing and vibrant Saturn homebrew scene, you know. So thank you, Johannes. And also he's a Patreon supporter of us, so I'm incredibly humbled by his support, you know. So thank you to Johannes and XL2. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to thank, you know, Ponut for all the work that he's done. Also helpful dude, lending his sound library, and also just being helpful in the Sega Extreme Discord. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Sega Extreme. If you guys are new to the Saturn community and you're listening to this, go check out Sega Extreme. It's an amazing resource. There's so much information and there's so many resources over there, and the people are just really, really nice folks. So Sega Extreme is on the cutting edge of what's happening in the Saturn community in terms of homebrew, patches, hacks, all that stuff. And we've got Emerald Nova, who also is a Patreon supporter. Emerald, you're not here, but I'm really thankful for you, bro. I appreciate your monetary support to SHIRO, but I also appreciate you really putting your money where your mouth is in terms of all Saturn projects. He's funding like multiple passion projects of folks, you know, and trying to encourage and help organize the community and build this community, and so that we have more great future projects. So I can't thank Emerald enough. I'm thankful for VBT, at Miss Salon, Raimi, Zenos Interactive. You guys, if I forget to say any names, please no, I'm just shooting from the hip here. I'm going off of memory. I have a tiny little list that I've put together right here, but this was not planned. It was just an idea I had. So if I forget your name, you know, just introduce yourself to me in the Discord afterwards, and I won't forget you after that. But yeah, I don't want anybody to feel left out. It's really just, I want to take an opportunity to thank folks. And also, if you happen to be listening to this in a podcast form and you take interest in any of the people I'm mentioning, go check them out. Do Martin mentioned Mark from RetroCore in the comments. We've got, of course, Professor Abrasive. We just talked about him a little bit ago. He helped out with the recent polishing of the Cafe Alpha's pseudo patch, but even more importantly, he did put out the Satiator, which has been a great hardware resource for folks. And also in his research and development for that, he also helped the emulation community gain strides in terms of Saturn emulation, making it easier. So thank you to Professor Abrasive, and Sed, who's working on the Fenrir. It's another excellent product, and you know, it's an amazing product available for a very reasonable price. Like, the Saturn is a really expensive console these days to get into, but it doesn't have to be. Honestly, for like $200, you can have a Saturn and like the entire game library, because of the work that these people are doing. And they're just like fans like us who decided to go ahead and, you know, make something out of their passion for it. And then now it's available for everyone. And my mouse is apparently running out.
It's still in stock, so if you want to get it
Still
now
in stock.
before it sells out again.
It's Christmas time. It's in stock. It's excellent. Okay, like I have it. I have a mode. Okay, I guess I am speaking without actually having personally tested it, but I know several people that I trust that speak so highly of it. And if you're a developer, it's the one to get, honestly, because of that, the ability to just push code to the machine over Wi-Fi. It's cheap. It's amazing. It's got huge compatibility, and it's available, which is important, you know. So if you're thinking about a Christmas present, tell the wife to get you a Fenrir. You know, and of course, you know, when it comes to and I may be forgetting some people, but seriously, guys, when it comes to like the hackers and the folks who are into like the hardware and the technical side of things. Those are just some of the names that come to my head that I'm deeply thankful to you guys for everything that you're doing. I can't thank you enough. Translations out there, Saturn has seen so many great translations. I'm going to mention Knight again for his work on Castlevania. Absolutely epic game, and it's just that much better now because of Knight's translation. It's not just an English translation, there is also quality of life improvements there that just make the game infinitely more playable. You've got Misty, or Miss T, who's doing a bunch of stuff with the Lunar games. You got Noah Steam and his team. You got Trekkies. We love Trekkies, you know, with Grandia, and then again all of the video compression stuff that he's doing. Also super nice and helpful guy. If you guys need help, you can literally get in our Discord or go over to Sega Extreme and talk to these guys, and they're approachable and they'll answer the questions that you have. They're not just going to be dismissive, you know. I mean, they have years of experience now and they're willing to share it. Shadow Mask, thank you. I'm going to shout Shadow Mask because, you know, he's working on Death Mask, and he came into the community, he just raised his hand like, I want to work on something, you know, I want to be a part of this. And that's what SHIRO is all about. Like, if you're listening to this and you're not a part of SHIRO, come join our Discord, you know, come be a part of the community. If you want to work on a Saturn related project, or you love the Saturn and you want to get involved, just do it, you know, just make a decision and say, okay, I'm not going to think about it anymore. I'm just going to do it. There's people here that want to do it as well. You can build a team, you can make something happen. So thanks to
build a team.
Sorry?
Build a team.
Xenos, yeah, build a team. Well, you know, just show interest, you know, because that's how the bulk/English translation kind of got started. Several folks were like, yeah, I'm into this. You had Memphis over there. You had Greg Lackaware, Seawin, Burnt Ends, you know, you had Danthrax or Danbo, you know, all of them get together and they come together to make something that is just, it's like perfect. I mean, just the amount of love that has gone into the bulk/translation. I have not seen anything like that. It really just has set a really high bar for what's possible, you know, and hopefully other people are going to follow their lead, you know. Thank you to you guys. You're on my list, you know. Thank you, bulk/translation team. You guys rock. Derek A-Team, I love you, man, and I'm really thankful for you. All of the Sakura Wars stuff that you've done and the Dreamcast stuff. I know I'm like a Saturn fan for life, but Dreamcast is one of my, you know, second favorite consoles, and you give Dreamcast so much love. So I'm thankful for you, man. And Aisha, Junker HQ. There's just so many others that I'm having a hard time thinking of all of the translation teams out there. I mentioned Paul Met and Team Medusa. They're a big one right there.
Mr. Conan.
Oh yeah, Mr. Conan. Oh, and you know, I mentioned Sega Extreme, but I didn't mention darn it, I'm having like a brain fart right now. Mr. Our dude who brings us all the news like constantly. Why am I forgetting his name?
Burns.
Mr. Burns. Thank you, Mr. Burns, for constantly bringing us. You're better than SHIRO. Honestly, I have to admit, like, we follow your lead on a lot of stuff. I'm not too proud to admit it. Like, you are really good at digging up news articles and stuff, sir. So shouts to you. I really do appreciate it. I've used your information more than once, so I'm thankful for you too, man.
He's from Hong Kong. I just want to say, if anyone wants to do a team, there's this weird Discord I made where nobody knows what it's for.
Okay.
It's for making teams. Like,
is that the
working on?
Is that the bird thing or
yeah, the Paradise Birds thing, because I didn't want to make it just have my name. So if you can code, come there and we can make a team.
Zenos, can you drop a link? Can you drop a link to that in the chat, in the live chat? And folks, feel free to join that.
Yeah, Emerald Nova or the Paradise Birds thing. But just be sure Paradise Birds thing is a completely NSFV Discord. You need to be 18 plus.
Okay. Well, that's good. Oh, and speaking of 18 plus, I'm thankful for some of our young kids. Honestly, we've got some kids that are under 18, honestly, in our Discord. But I'm thankful for those guys too, because honestly, you guys are like the future of like Saturn, the Saturn scene as well. The fact that you're taking interest in it, you're interested in these cool old consoles, because otherwise it would just die with us, right? You know, I mean, it's like we're interested in this stuff, and I think a lot of the times our content just panders to 30-year-olds, you know, or 40-year-olds. And I'm always amazed when I, you know, meet somebody in our Discord who's like 16 or 17, and they're like heavy into, you know, like Saturn and PlayStation 1 and even SNES and stuff like that. That's just awesome. Yeah. So yeah, they're few and far in between, but it's always nice to see that younger kids are interested in this stuff as well, because that does a lot to help preserve it, you know. And let's see here. I'm gonna get into video stuff. So like, again, this community consists of hackers, patchers, translators, content creators. And when it comes to content creators, some of the ones that have been around for the longest are guys like Jared, Project COE. You got Adam Korlick, of course, who we just talked to last week. Been around in the scene for a really long time, been creating content for folks like me. Before I was doing it, I was watching his stuff, and I'm really thankful to guys like him. Pandemonium, our own Nick Pandemonium, thank you, bro, for being an awesome SHIRO and also making really, really great content. He takes time. He creates these documentaries that are very, very well informed and well researched, and so, you know, I just love his content. And then of course Mel, my bro, Sega Lord X, we're close, and he's a nice guy. He's an awesome guy, and I love his content as well. You know, he doesn't pull punches. He tells you exactly what he thinks. You love him or hate him, he is a diehard Sega fan, and his content speaks to that, you know. And of course, Sam, the SSG, I love you, bro. You know, I know that he's like super busy with work and stuff, and he's doing what he needs to do. He's taking care of his family. That's number one. But he's also an awesome content creator, and he has such a vivid imagination in his ability to tell stories and narrative and stuff like that. So I'm really thankful for you, Sam. Of course, you know that. And Digi Valentine, one of my favorite YouTubers, really cool guy, huge Knights fan, ran the Knights into Dreams fan site, and also creates some awesome YouTube content. And John Linneman, DF Retro, we love you, love your content, love the fact that you're a Saturn nut, and you like to give Saturn a lot more love than PlayStation, so you're always good in my book. Genovi, I'm going to mention Genovi just because, you know, he does a lot of 32X stuff, but he's also a huge friend of SHIRO, and we love his content. And of course, Saturn Memories, he's you know, he's shows up in our Discord every now and then. You know, we talk, and I mean, his videos have been like reference grade material for all of us. You know, you're thinking about playing a game, and you're like, oh, let's check this out. You type it into YouTube, and 90% of the time what comes up is a Saturn Memories video. And so I've appreciated his uploads for like the past decade, so I really appreciate that guy. And then of course, I Play Sega and Dave Tona are also awesome Saturn content creators and YouTubers. There's an up-and-comer called Poppy G. I don't know if you guys have checked out his stuff, but he's a graphic designer, and you can tell, and he also has a flair with video editing. It's Papigi, Papa G. He's a huge Saturn fan, and I'm liking some of the stuff that he's doing. He has his daughter on reviewing Saturn games, and his daughter's like a 6 or 7-year-old, and she's just like giving you like honest reviews. So it's quite amusing. Of course, Bob from Retro RGB, appreciative of all the information that he brings us, and I like how well researched it is. And then, of course, as far as social media goes, I have to mention the Saturn Junkyard. I'm really appreciative of those guys. I can't name them all. There's a bunch of guys associated with the Saturn Junkyard, but if you are a Saturn fan and you want to get into Saturn, go check out the Saturn Junkyard. It's if you're into Facebook, of course, you know. Otherwise, just join our Discord and hang, you know. But you know, it's a fun place where they do little contests and they have fun engagement at the Saturn Junkyard, and of course, it's a sister site to the Dreamcast Junkyard, so lots of cool stuff there. Am I forgetting anybody, guys? I was gonna say I'm thankful to my own SHIROs, Pat. If it wasn't for Pat, you know, I mean, reaching out to me originally, it was Pat and I that started SHIRO, and we also had Kay, A Murder of Crows. So I'm incredibly thankful for Pat, Kay, Peter, Ben, and Nick, who are my fellow SHIROs. Guys changed my life, and for the better, you know, because here we are. Have I lost everybody? There's still 14 people in the YouTube chat. I'm just curious if I've missed anybody. But yeah. Oh. Let me see here. Oh, Martins wants to know. Yeah, the father and son video creators, Retro Dad and Modern Lad, and that reminds me, they're affiliated with the Saturn Collectors and Gamers, and they have a large group over on Facebook as well. And so yeah, that's one more place that you can look at for community and for community and engagement. I'm reading the comments here. Martin is cracking me up.
We got Malenko with the
yes.
fire pro
yes.
stuff. Him and
Malenko
Murder of Crows have been going at it.
That's right. Malenko, Murder of Crows. What other ones? What other translations have I missed? There's so many, it's hard to remember, but let's see. Well, you know, yeah, as far as like all these people that I've mentioned are like basically a snapshot of the Saturn scene or the Saturn community in like 2020, 2021. And there are many, many more. I mean, you've got guys in the chat here like Martin, you know, and Cheo, you know, and gosh, like names I recognize. You guys are very active in our Discord, and you guys add to the conversation in good ways, you know. Man of Stone, again, Shadow Mask, shouts to Shadow Mask. I really enjoy it when people come into the community, they're brand new, and they just get engaged and they're just a part of it, you know, because they're like family to me. You got AM25, brilliant artist, and he's over in the Sega Extreme. He's over in the Sega Extreme Discord a lot, and he also hangs out in ours. He's working on a project called Ring Worlds. Has done some really cool stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
He's the new blood of Saturn.
New blood of Saturn. Yeah, you got Diddy over in the over on the Sega Extreme side. There are so many people over on the Sega Extreme side too. Xenos has, you know, Astral Junkie with him, and I mentioned Emerald. I'm missing a ton of people on the Sega Extreme side. But all I can say is go check out Sega Extreme. Yeah, Genki Droid. Somebody already said Mark from Retrocore, so I did. I said that. But shouts to Mark from Retrocore again. Yeah, I think that's everybody. But anyway, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I just wanted to shout all you guys and say how thankful I am for your contributions, for your hard work, none of which has been paid. Most unless you've brought a product to market, you know, in which case you should be paid, because that right there is a monumental task. But a lot of these folks have just literally put in tons of work and got nothing out of it other than just the enjoyment of the community, being able to play this stuff and enjoy it, you know. So to you guys, my hat is off, like literally. Hats off to you guys for all of your hard work and contributions. Without you, we would not have a Saturn community. And as cliche as it might sound when I say the Saturn is our future, it is so because we make it so. So yeah, if you guys love the Saturn like I do and you want to see more cool, awesome stuff happen with it, then get involved. Either in the Sega Extreme Discord or the SHIRO Discord. We're not exclusive. We love each other and we support each other. So it's whatever you want. But if you have a project that you want to share it and you want people to know about it, let me know, and I will be sure to shout it on the SHIRO show and on our website, and we will provide you with a platform where you can get the news out to people so that so they can come in and enjoy what you are working on. And that literally brings us to time. So I'm gonna read off just our top Patreon supporters. Emerald Nova, thank you for your support. Seawin, Derek, A-Team, Pascarella, Johannes Fetz, Ian Keg, Super Dimension Century Orgus, Tanuki Trev, Young Money Sweden or Young Money SWE. Thank you all for your top tier pledges. If you guys want to support SHIRO and what we do, you can check us out at Patreon. It's a SHIRO Media Group on Patreon.
Yep.
And,
Memphis?
Yeah. Memphis? Sorry?
Did you get Memphis on your list?
Is he... Sorry, Memphis. Is he one of the $10 guys? I didn't... I kind of had to like make my list at the last minute. I didn't have like a printed out list. But yeah, thank you, Memphis. Sorry. Pat usually handles all this. He usually organizes that stuff, and he's on top of like who's edited their pledges and stuff like that. But I had like a little cheat sheet. But yeah, anyway, thank you, Memphis, as well. We appreciate your guys' pledges, but we also appreciate all of our Patreon supporters as well. Like, even if you guys are just giving $1 a month, it really helps us host the podcast, and it's not like any of us are paying for it out of our pockets anymore, which was the case for the longest time. So that's awesome. You guys are basically paying for the podcast, and yeah, and I mean, like, if any of us are going to be like at any cons or we're going to be doing any kind of cool projects in the future, we're going to be using funds that you guys have donated to support these projects. We're not taking any money off the side for ourselves, for personal stuff. Anything you guys have contributed is going to go directly to SHIRO projects to help making them come to fruition. And if you cannot do like a sustained contribution, I totally get that. So we have merch. You can go to our Threadless store. It's we're Sega Saturn SHIRO on Threadless, and check out some of the merch. I'm actually working on a new design, hopefully, that I'll have up soon for you guys. But you can support us by buying a shirt or a hoodie, and even if you can't support us monetarily, because I know money's tight for a lot of folks and they don't have money to throw at this kind of stuff, seriously, just be a part of the community, because that's fine with me. If you join our community, you engage in our conversations, and you help share the stream out, or you help share us out on Twitter and stuff like that, that means the world to me. So until next time, this has been SaturnDave flying solo, missing my bro Pat, who's working his butt off right now. Some kind of crunch thing going on at work. Reminding you that you must play Sega Saturn, and have a really nice Thanksgiving next week if you happen to celebrate Thanksgiving, and if you don't, have a nice week anyway. I can promise you I won't be here next Friday, but I'll be thinking about you guys, and I will be appreciating every one of you. Until next time, peace.